Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Show right here on GoHofstra.com. Mark Prusen, joined by the head coach of Hofstra Volleyball, Kristina Hernandez. Coach, you win the first 4 matches of the season. Not a bad way to start.
It was a good weekend overall. I was pleased with how the team played, and they adjusted accordingly to a few things that we needed to get better at throughout the weekend. And overall, great weekend.
First time since 1989 that the Pride won their first 4 matches of the season without losing a set. Is that something that you've experienced as a coach, as a player? How rare is that?
I don't think I've experienced before. I guess it's pretty rare. I'm not too sure. I think that we weren't necessarily going out there with an intent of sweeping. I think, the main goal for us was to try to make sure that each set we were engaged for every point and really trying to kind of be at full 100% for every single point. And they went out there with that mentality, and I think that led to us just being able to close out each set. But it was a great surprise.
Kelsey Welsh hasn't missed a beat since the end of last season, 10 kills away from joining the exclusive 1,000 kills club here at Hofstra. Can you just describe her career? Less than 3 years, and she's almost a part of that club.
Kelsey's got a lot stronger this year, and I think it's pretty noticeable when she plays. She's much more mature and calm, and she's able to deal with a lot of frustration pretty easily and be able to work through that. She's committing less errors, especially when she is a little off or tired. But she's become a lot more dynamic, and our setters are running her in a different, they're really speeding up the back row attacks for her and running her on some 2 balls off serve receive. So it's able to kind of help her with the block a little bit and have some different options.
Now talk about some of the depth you have at that outside hitting position after Kelsey Welsh. We saw Veronica getting some playing time. Emily Burke as well. I know she was battling an injury early before this season started. So can you talk about the depth you have at the outside hitter position?
Em's been back for about a week, and she did a great job with only being with us for about a week. She missed a good chunk of preseason, so I think that she's adjusted really well, and you can tell that I think set by set she was gradually getting more comfortable and better and better. And so I think once she's got a nice week with us again, that we'll just continue to see her get bigger numbers. But she's gotten a lot physically stronger, and you can tell as well that she's just a little bit more mature this year. Giovanna had a great weekend, and she put up some great numbers for us on the right side, was really consistent, got some blocks for us, and she was able to go on the right side for us. We're a little thin right now with some injuries, and she was competing for the outside spot, but we were able to kind of flip her over to the right side, and she did a good job for us.
One player we didn't see this weekend, newcomer Nuria Lopez de Silva. Any idea when we'll get a look at her on the court?
She's at the doctor's now.
She's at the doctor's now.
Hopefully we get a clear sign today. She's been she just had a little tweak of her knee during preseason, but she's been strengthening, and she looked good over the weekend. So hopefully we get a green flag today.
Looking at the middle blocking position, Sarah Campolina had quite a weekend. Can you talk about her effort in the 4 matches?
I was really pleased and impressed with Sarah. We've been pushing her to really take on a bigger role and just do more offensively, and really kind of be the senior leader for us on the court, because she's one of the only ones as far as that goes that is going to have a big role for us, and she's one of our captains. So I was really pleased and impressed with what she did. She was aggressive in the offense. She was really consistent. Her blocking was great, and she really just kind of made some holes in that block for our outsides to be able to get a little bit free, and it's not something that she did so well last year, so I was happy to see that from her.
And when you keep looking at the depth chart for middle blocker, we haven't gotten to see Ndama Asia yet this season. Last year she led the conference in blocks. Can you talk about when we might see her this season?
We're not too sure yet. She's also seeing the doctor today, so we're hoping that it'll be on the shorter side of maybe 2 weeks. But there is a potential that we're just not too sure right now. So we'll cross our fingers and hope. But Veronica did a good job and stepped in for her this weekend, and I was really pleased with what she did offensively and with blocking, and I think as she continues to get more comfortable, she'll continue to get better. But for that being her first collegiate weekend, she did a good job for us.
And maybe one of the biggest question marks going into this season, that setter position. You bring in Kaitlyn, Krause, Hannah Clem as well. And last season, one of the most important parts of Hofstra was using Catalina Cherry, Kainoa Kasich in that 6-2 formation. So can you talk about how that has gone, what you've seen of the pair of those two this season, Krause and Clem?
It was good. I think Sunday was the best that we've seen it. Hannah was much more comfortable on the court and was actually producing a lot of offense in her time there. Kaitlyn as well is continuing to get more comfortable and really get those connections going, and they're really feeding well off of each other, and we're producing a lot of offense off of both of them, and they both have kind of different style of kind of offensive speed, so it's good from that standpoint that it makes us a little bit less predictable. But Kaitlyn has a lot of ability to score points offensively, and as I said, I think we'll see more and more of that as we go along. But that dynamic's working really well, and I think it will get better as we go along, especially since they're both new. But they did a great job of kind of balancing out the offense and really feeding everybody this weekend.
Can you talk about some of the experience that Krause brings in? She had a year at Dayton playing in the A-10 behind one of their best setters, one of that conference's best setters last season. So can you talk about the experience that she brings to the Pride this year?
She just has a different mentality. She's got a really tough mentality, and she expects a lot from herself, and she pushes everybody, and she's really not pleased unless everything is going, correct and to the way it's supposed to be, which is a nice thing to have in the gym, and from somebody who's a sophomore. I forget that we'll have her for 3 years sometimes, but she has been able to provide immediate leadership for us, and because she's so comfortable on the court, and she knows what she wants to do, and she's extremely competitive. So she's been able to transition well for us and, do a really good job for us in that position.
We also got our first look at incoming libero Sophia Black this weekend, replacing Kaitlyn and Hannah, the program's all-time leader in digs. What did you see from her first chances in a Pride uniform?
Her passing was great, and I was really happy with her. And she cut off some people with some free balls, and we're seeing her be really aggressive on her serve. And I don't think that people hit a lot to her this weekend, so her numbers were a little low, but you can tell that she's really smooth and comfortable out there, and she doesn't look like a freshman per se right now, and I'm happy with what she did, and that's going to be a good position for her.
Now, what went into the decision to start her over, I guess you could say, the incumbent, the returning libero, Karina Delgadillo?
They battled it out pretty much all of preseason, and I'd say the last week, once we sat them down and said we hadn't made a decision yet, Sophia kind of just split off in another direction, and it was really apparent to us of who was just more comfortable in being in that role, and she's been getting a little bit stronger and tougher every day during practice, but she took it that last week, and it was pretty clear what the decision that we had to make.
Harvard Invitational this weekend up in Boston. What are you going to work on this week in practice to prepare?
We've got some things we need to tweak. There's a couple of rotations we need to smooth out still with our serve receive. Our blocking we want to clean up. And again, we just want to make our serving more aggressive as we go along, so it just continues to be tougher. But a few things here and there we need to tweak out with individual players that we want to make a little bit better. But even though we had a great weekend, there were still some things that we needed to do better. Okay.
And Hofstra fans, the Pride are next in action Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. They'll take on Holy Cross up at the Harvard Invitational, and you can catch all the action right here on GoHofstra.com.